Bam! Going live. Welcome to the show tonight. You guys read the title. Y'all know what we're going to be talking about. And I actually got to take my hoodie off. Feeling a little bit better. But you know, not eating a whole lot. But we're going to make it work. And if I have to make any noises or cough or something, I'm just going to hit the mute button. So, there you go. Okay, Pro Se Legal School. We provide the tools that you need to stop the damn HOA. Now, we already been stopping the HOA, and I'm going to explain to you kind of how, whatever. But I have done the homework on the HOA situation to figure out how they come up with, well, you know, with their ability to do all the stuff they're doing to everybody, you know? You got attorneys running the HOA. They're taking people's properties and stuff for themselves. Oh, yeah. Okay, but before we get to all that, we need to get started a couple of things. So how the live stream works best for me is that we talk about the things that I said we're going to talk about, which is, you know, generally the reason why you're here. And then after that, if we have time left or whatever, then, or if we have people asking questions that aren't covered in the, you know, then we'll fill some questions. But we're not going to fill the questions right out the gate and interrupt my program and do all those things, and then everybody's doing that, and then it's going to take us 2 hours to get done to what we need to do. And I don't have that much time, especially feeling like I've been feeling. So we're going to do it this way, and then at the end, if there's some, and usually there's a little extra time at the end when I say hi to everybody and give everybody the opportunity to see the thing on the screen, then people could, you know, ask questions, but be smart about it. Okay, don't come in asking questions that you can go read about on the front page of the website. And the coaching group is on the front page of the website too. And so sometimes people get grumpy with me because I don't always email them where, you know, I don't coach in the emails. So unless you have a product problem, issue, situation, you know, like you didn't get it, then I mean, even if that was the situation, it's a lot easier to catch and faster to catch up with me in the coaching group. And the coaching group is structured for the way that I coach. Some people think that their coaching is me standing here all day waiting for you guys to call me and ask me the same questions you can be learning over there on your own. And so that's not really the coaching group, the coaching theory of the group. The coaching theory of the group is to help you jumpstart your critical thinking process so that you can make it here without me making you run laps. Okay, you can't. This is a school. You can't go to college and start asking the professor a bunch of shit. They're going to tell you, look, you need to go do your homework, man. We're going to be a test tomorrow. You keep on asking me that shit. We're going to have a test tomorrow. Okay, so that's how, and the coaching is done at neighbors_coach over on Twitter. And the way it is, if you have a short question, you can ask, and if it's, you know, personal or you think it could be a little embarrassing or something, then you can ask me in the private side of it. But keep it short. Okay, if you got to send me this much stuff, number one, you're talking, and I don't read that. And number two, you don't understand. If you got to send me a whole thing, then I suggest you go watch the instructional video again, because that's probably where I'm going to send you anyway. Keep your questions short if you have questions, and then I'm going to be asking a few more questions myself so I can understand if you've done your homework or not. Now, the other thing that I want to touch on is the premium packages. The foreclosure defense package that's half price of $1,500 right now, and the prosecutor eliminator package. Those packages come with a consultation after you review the instruction video that comes with the package. Okay, you can't go watch all those other videos or all that other stuff because the problem that I'm having here in this situation is that people come in, they invest in the program, and then they drag their feet about watching the videos because they get a free consultation. And then when we communicate for the consultation, they don't know shit. So I'm just saying. And it gets better. So does it get better? I got one dude that keeps telling me he watched the video, whatever, and then asking me questions what he's supposed to file. And so I've been kind of jumping and shit and whatever. Now, dude, that's, So then he says, okay, I went back and watched the video, coach. And I kind of think this person is an attorney that's like a mole or something. I don't know. So, it's all about the words and the attitude thing. So I went to the website and took a look. Y'all know after Nia Holmes tried to rip me out. Well, I already know how to do this. And go to the backside of the website. And I can see if you downloaded the files. I can see if you downloaded the instructional video. Dude downloaded the files, but he did not download the updated instructional video for how to use the package. That package that package is the mortgage fraud package that we kind of changed down because they were having a hard time with the attorneys with those words. That package used to be the online course. That package is the bomb. But if you don't use it properly, that's not going to help you as much as it could. And you're going to end up on your own. So I need people to take the time. You got 2 weeks. And that's where we're starting at now. When I get busier, it's going to be less time than that. You got 2 weeks. Now, you have opportunity to watch the same videos for the package before you invest. And in that video, I show you the front page, and we talk about all the things that you need to know. And then when you invest in the package, then you get another video that shows me going through the whole page and talking about some additional things that you need to know about because you invested in this package. If you don't watch those and study them, you're not going to know what to tell me when I ask you some questions. And you only get one shot. And if you don't say, Coach, I didn't watch the shit, I'm sorry, look. And I've had that happen a couple of times. Those people I respect. Not as much as I do the people who watch the shit. Okay, because if you can't cut your losses when you're screwing up, then you might as well just go throw your own shit in the yard. I'm just saying. So those people, when they say, hey, dude, I need, let me get back with you. I can work with that. But I don't have time to play. And so if you invest in the premium package, then your asses need to get that shit done. So when I call you, you're ready. Because that's what it's going to boil down to here pretty soon. It's going to boil down to me calling you when I can, and your ass need to be ready because there's not going to be another call. I'm just saying. I'm getting a little worked up. Let's say hi to Ken. What's up, Ken? Loud and clear from Northern Cali. Yeah, we've been working with our keywords to get more people from California because I think you guys are getting the worst of the shit anywhere. And, I have people call me from where they're at and try to tell me that shit. And I tell them, look, man, did your state hire a whole nother department and pay them $85,000 a year each person to drive around and clean feces and stuff up off the street? So if your state ain't done that, y'all ass ain't in front of the people in California. I'm hoping that more people from California get in the program because We got a couple, and they're about to start having some fun. Welcome to the show, Ken. Thank you for sharing your time with us, buddy. Ken goes back quite a while back. I think we call him Cowboy, if I remember correct. Okay, so I think we're ready to get to work. Now, I've been getting some calls by people with the HOA, whatever, and 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 I don't even know where to start with this HOA shit. Okay, I put together all of the facts that I needed to make a lawsuit for that, foreclosure, HOA, whatever. And but I'm like, wait a minute, that's a lot of work. And an HOA is using statutes and codes to screw you over. Not the same ones. Oh, the state really likes the HOA because the state set the HOA up with their own specific special statutes and codes. And these statutes and codes, they call them something different. They call them something different. They call them covenants and conditions and restrictions, CC&R. Now, that's what they're called. So they start out, the statute is set up to help these corporations and also condominiums. The Condominium Act was put in place to help us. I'm sorry. It was put in place to help some damn body. And so what happens is, and I'm just going to cut to the chase right here so we can just get right down to it. Then we can kind of back up, move around and shit. Okay? So what happens is these covenant conditions and restrictions are voluntarily entered into contract. These people, when you invest in this shit, you're voluntarily contracting to agree to the covenant conditions and restrictions, the CC&Rs. All right, but so here's the thing. The government can't do a damn thing to you if you decide you don't want to, because obviously it ain't, The government can't do shit. They can't call police. They can't do shit to you. If you agree, at some point in time, you ain't putting up with none of this shit. Oh, okay. I was going to share some of the stuff, but it's so back and forth. Oh, they can't sue. Oh, wait, they can foreclose on you, but they can't sue you for the fees and stuff. But in non-judicial, but they can go to judicial and sue you there for whatever the hell they want. Well, why would they have to go to judicial and pay that $400 or $200? Why would you want to do that and drag it out when you just do the non-judicial over here? And so now you have the HOA initiating the foreclosure. Does anybody smell stink? Okay. This is, and I'm just going to try. I need to take a drink of water because I'm about to get worked up. This is the ridiculous part about it. At the top of the program, we start out the revised statutes and codes. revised statutes and codes are not valid laws. Don't have enacting clauses, titles, or bodies. Okay, so wait, no, this is a new section of the codes. I did not know this until last night. I decided I'm going to have to make a decision on what I want to put in the lawsuit for this situation, because we're going to have one especially so it says that at the top, whatever. And the statutes and codes, the revised statutes and codes is what I'm used to attacking. But the states have special revised codes, and for these people, I wonder how they got away with that. And they violate, obviously, your due process. Y'all wouldn't be calling me. Wait. So they're doing this stuff under their covenant conditions and restrictions. I don't know. I haven't decided to call it a rule. When you read this stuff in their shit in the little tiny print, like you were going to read your mortgage, okay. When you read that shit, then you'll see right out the gate that all that shit is just administrative bullshit. It's just administrative bullshit about how that's supposed to go, whatever. Okay. So, but here's the problem. The HOA is lien jumping. That's illegal. Total bullshit. They're lien jumping. Oh, so how the hell can the damn HOA initiate the foreclosure based off of these CC&R bullshit, or even the statutes and codes? Let's just go there. Even though the foreclosure statutes and codes are there, they screw you over too. When you stay the hell away from them statutes and codes. I know I'm not the only one figuring that shit out. Okay, so is it against the law to file a wrongful lien claim? Not on a state level. Now we're back to why we don't play around with this stupid ass shit. Yeah, on the federal level, hell yeah. You can't file a false lien claim against somebody and use that shit to take over the security interest of their property. Well, I guess you can, but if you're doing it to my people, your ass about to get chopped up. So, okay. So what we've been doing is just adding the HOA to the top of the lawsuit. Well, not above the state. Well, I don't know what the hell. Hell yeah, we're to the very top. Top of the lawsuit. Add the attorney that's working for the HOA. You know, the same one that's been buying up other people's units and shit and doing all that stuff. Tang, add their ass right in there. And then you can go to People Finder and pull their name up and the phone number and the email address, put in there to make sure that you got the right people. And then you learn what this person owns. Because as long as they put your shit, as long as they have your deed registered, your stuff's all going to be running in for everybody to see. Even their stuff. Now, they have ways of hiding their stuff, and that's going to be a different program. Okay, but where I'm going with this is a question. If your damn deed was delivered to you just like the property transfer statutes and coach, their asses are supposed to be following. If it was delivered to you, you wouldn't have this problem. I mean, you still have the problem that people pissed off if you don't pay them, but they wouldn't be able to lean jump, top of the line, and force you into foreclosure because you cut your grass when it was 5 inches tall instead of 3. I didn't do that. I didn't understand, but this is a long time ago. All right, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If your deed was delivered to you like the law says it's supposed to be, then no one. Oh, wait. I'm thinking. If your deed was delivered to you and you had it in your Bible over there in the situation room right over there underneath that, maybe underneath that shelf cabinets, and would they be able to verify that there was a mortgage loan that you owed them a payment? Huh? I don't know. Somebody help me. If your deed was not registered in their office, would they be able to verify that you owed them money? Because, what we address in the lawsuit is 6 missing things and in the premium package, okay? Don't cheat people, y'all stay. We address the 6 missing things. Well, we also addressed the 42 USC issue of them dragging your happy ass into administrative court and using their statutes and codes. Okay, we addressed that too. And in the $600 package, we addressed that, and we addressed that also in the premium package. But in the premium package, we also addressed the path, the illegal path that the paperwork took after you left the table. And I'm just going to lay it out for you because I'm not that smart. So I've had to spend a lot of time looking at a lot of stuff because everything that they say are lies. But, and my coach, Denny Harden, he's a private banker. So he knows how to put them lies down here on the table where I can understand them. And that's kind of how this all got started. Okay, so the lies, you go to you sign the deed or the mortgage, you sign some shit, okay? People get themselves worked up into the words, the titles, or the names of things. It don't matter what it was, because at the end of the day, you ask it right, we end up over there with everybody else. You sign that shit, everybody's happy, but they don't give you the paperwork because, well, they need to do some shit with it. And so after you leave, the bank vice president or something stamps paid to the order of on it. And then they sign it. Underneath that, it says without recourse, something, blah, 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 blah. And, basically they turn into a security, which is a huge check, okay? Because I'm from the hood. I had to look what the hell a security was. If they said it turned into a check, I would have been good. And they process it through the Federal Reserve for electronic credits. Now, Modern Money Mechanics said they couldn't. These people put out this publication. They know way more about this banking fraction, banking, whatever stuff. They said that these people was granted 9 times the amount that went into a demand deposit account. And then they wrote a check for one amount, but you don't get to see none of that. Okay, so I have another friend that's in the program. His first name is Arthur, and he buys these notes and stuff before they get these securities before they get to the bank. Oh, and he says that they got granted 23 times the amount. Damn, how could the bank be running broke? Oh, well, okay, here's the problem. The alleged loan was generated with your signature. Those are the things that we address in the premium package. We address what happened after you left the table. And we do it real easy. We tell them, look, there's 6 things missing off of this crap that the attorneys filed in court, the foreclosure shit. There's 6 things missing off of there, at least. The 6 things I agreed to, you agreed to, and the bank agreed to. You and the bank agreed to these things, and they're missing. I don't know why they're missing, but they're missing. So one of the 6 things is, in the lawsuit that you give her, is that you're saying that you and the lender agreed to do the deal, the mortgage deal, according to the GAAP accounting principles. Yeah, we got to let that soak in just a little bit longer. Now, you got this in federal court. This is one of the things you're saying is missing. You're saying that you and the lender agreed that the deal would be done according to the GAAP accounting principles, which is the federal banking laws. And those assholes can't say that it was because it wasn't. I mean, did all this slick shit after you left the table. Oh, and if they said that, you know, that you did do it that way, then they'd be lying too because it didn't. And then also you're saying that that you and the lender agreed that the signature from the borrower would be repaid, which is you because you signed. Oh, they don't want to talk about none of that shit. I'm just telling you. This is why that lawsuit package is so badass. They don't want to talk about any of that. And they can't. Okay, they can't because, okay, we stopped the state court process by filing the federal lawsuit in the state court. They can't respond to it. You can file higher court case law in lower courts. You can file Supreme Court case law, federal case law in state court. But they don't. And when they do, and you're not like a problem, and you're not an asshole like, you know. Okay, but here's the problem. The problem they have. I don't have a problem doing it. I do shit all day. Okay, I learned how to cut their shit up and down and jam them in the face. Oh. Okay, so, you know, we used to try to move this, and yeah, no, we don't do that anymore. You just file the shit in the state court. They're not going to respond. State court players can't respond to federal court case law with statutes and code bullshit. It's a wrap. They're not going to be able to respond. They're going to try and move you over to federal court. That's bullshit too, because they don't have a bar license unless they've been to my website. Oh, so now they're going to have to hire someone on the federal level to respond to our fire. No, that ain't going to happen. Shit. The federal court judge already been telling y'all need to get the dough. And the stairs are right over there. Yeah, so and that's the way that we have it set up by design. And then you know, people will get jacked up because they're spending too much time in state court. Crush that shit, get the lawsuit filed in federal court, serve them people, and when you're done serving them people, you demand the federal court judge order them to a settlement table, Because that's what we have on our thing. We don't have trial and all that shit. We're a settlement conference in the premium package. And I would tell the judge, they need to come to the settlement conference. My legal team told me that I should present this way without laughing. Okay, sorry. You need to order them to a settlement conference because they could not respond to anything that we filed in state court. So they had no standing respond to shit now because we found the same thing. Unless they got some new attorneys from the federal level. And even then, I'm going to stand right on. Okay, so I know people like, Coach, you're talking crazy. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, I am. I'm about to bag it up, too. So, you can just tell them. Those people could not respond. They didn't. My legal team said that you, federal judge. Now, I don't know because I work all the time to pay the legal team. And that's why I'm coming in for $20 million because y'all, Okay, so I don't know. But what I do know is my legal team said that none of your rulings were done with the finding of facts and the conclusions of law. Does that mean that all of the prior rulings that you've done, federal judge, were administrative in nature? Which means they were not connected to the Constitution or federal laws. Which means they were rules that were structured by the Supreme Court to do exactly what the court is doing. And my legal team, now I don't know, my legal team said that they read the rules, the judges' canons, and they read all of that stuff. And it appeared to be the outline for the RICO operation. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that much about that. But that's what it appeared to be. Oh, wait. If your deed was delivered, you wouldn't have to worry about all this because they would have to knock on your door and ask you to see your stuff so they could put some shit on it. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Okay, before they came out with these statutes and codes, everybody's deed was kept over there or somewhere in the base, somewhere. And if someone said that you own their shit, and then he'd had to bust out some shit right now that shows that shit they have was signed and notarized prior to what you have. That was simple. I mean, I don't know. It was simple. Oh, but now your property has to go over here. They have to control it. Once they get your deed registered, that allows them to put the first illegal lien on it, and that's the mortgage lien. I'm just going to throw it right on the table. That's the mortgage lien. First illegal lien was the mortgage lien. That's why they have to do all that sneaky shit and all that stuff after y'all leave the table. And that's why they have 19 people in the room, all talking and working together. Like, yeah, we do this all the time. We're gonna screw you over. Okay, I've been taking a lot of cough medicine, so I can't drink nothing. Okay, because no, you cannot drink nothing if you can't eat shit. That could get ugly. Not that I know. I drink a lot of tea and water. Okay, so once they get your deed registered. Did I say delivered? Huh? Yeah. If your ass is in court right now facing this problem, that's what I would be telling the judge. Judge, my legal team told me to ask you if you order those assholes to deliver my deed because you're here to uphold the statutes and codes. And since I'm not a U.S. citizen, I'm not subject to none of that shit, but they're screwing up over there. And they didn't deliver my deed like the property transfer statute says supposed to happen. So could you please ask them to remove my deed from their office and all of my property information and to remove it from their sub corporations? Yeah, their sub corporation. You ever wonder how your shit, okay, got put on the okay? If you're in, or people in Texas, California with that non-judicial, okay, this is okay. You only missed payment by a day, and you already got people at your house trying to look at your shit and want to take pictures of stuff, realtors and shit, acting like they got the right to do some shit. How'd that happen? Oh, well, in every state there's a Register of Deeds Association, and the Register of Deeds Association is where they start this bullshit at. They put your property in there, and then all of these sub corporations connected run. Dude, they have a land bank in Shelby County, Tennessee. Ask Darren Woods. I got several videos about they got a land bank in Shelby County, Tennessee. Action 5 News said that 400 houses got sold for property taxes, and less than 35 of them were. Yeah, and Action 5 News also said no one knew where the money was. But Action 5 News showed the land bank. I did not know there was a land bank. Oh, yeah, so then they had a city worker for Shelby County, Tennessee, came up and said, oh, yeah, we don't throw people off the property. We just, try to make sure that these properties don't become rundown drug houses or whatever. So, yeah. And so Action 5 News said, okay, cool. And they looked up the stuff in the land bank, and one dude's property is worth $45,000. It got sold for $50. Wow. But the dude didn't want to talk about that anymore. The land bank. So the land bank has to be connected to, and I'm just thinking as I open in my head now, okay? The land bank has to be connected to, oh wait, how did it get to the land bank? Your stuff. Oh, yeah. So, we like to add the Supreme Court to your foreclosure lawsuit or whatever lawsuit you're bringing against the state. We like to add a Supreme Court ass on it. And then the Registered Deeds Association. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's just we're just going to get, because this is what we're about to do. Okay, we got the $200 million lawsuit filed against the divorce judge and this Miss Catherine Thesis in Lawrence, Kansas. And so we're going to call check tomorrow and make sure everybody got served how things are going. And then we're going to get a certified copy of that puppy dog, because I told them I need a certified copy, and they didn't want to give it to me because they didn't have a judge yet. And they still may not. Anyway, we'll worry about that at that time. And then we're gonna put a list pending lien against the Recorder of Deeds office and their assets. And we're already suing the divorce judge for her property at 1211 Massachusetts, which appears to be 39 law offices that are listed as residential, appears to me. And so we're reporting her to the IRS too. So okay, we told them people to stop playing around, but they don't. So the goal, if you get in this program, is to force them to deliver your deed. If your asses is in court, that's the only thing you want to talk about, delivering your deed. Now, the HOA crap, the wrongful lien, we're going to add that. I'm going to put together, I'm putting together another lawsuit. And then after understanding it, exactly what the CC and R's are, and that the Condominium Act is in there also, then there's just a few things. Because it's not going to take much. Because basically they're jamming you up for the statutes and codes and well whatever. But it doesn't specifically point to all of this or what we were doing before. Before, what we did was we just sued them for the foreclosure shit that they got the bank and everybody to do. And at the end of the day, the bank ain't doing the foreclosure anyway. So, okay, when am I going to go down that rabbit hole? Okay, so, but so it ain't hard to stop the HOA. Because what we like to do, okay, so here's how this works in the hood, or, even if you're hunting, okay? You want to get that slow one over there. So, and when it comes down to what we do here, okay, you want to attack the weak person, the weak person, the one that's at the bottom of the line, that ain't really. Okay, but I didn't want to make the lawsuit just for the wrongful lien, because they started the foreclosure shit on your ass, and this is what we specialize at crushing them with. So we're just going to add this wrongful lien in. And wording about the covenant restrictions and stuff violating you, and you're entering this shit you're entering into voluntarily contract with these people, so you can take your voluntary back anytime. I don't know what these people, they act like. Oh, well, that's cool. Some other people are getting some shit done. I tell you, if you stay focused, instead of getting in the middle of their stuff, where all the yakking starts, if you stay focused on going after them for violating your due process with their basic day-to-day statutes and codes, Nevada laws, their procedures and policies that they're using are administrative, they're not judicial. So now we don't have to argue all of that other shit, because in my head, until y'all asses get passed over here, we're going to be in the gun cabinet or something. No, that's kind of where we're at now. And see, the goal is to stay out of their conventional shit. That's the easiest way I can put it in more clear. Stay out of their conventional shit. The whole entire state court process is bullshit. I don't. We played in it for a while because my foster kid let me do whatever I want. And then what we did was, well, he went down there in some kind of way. He got somebody to give him the certified copy of the complete state court docket. That was so badass. I would have never thought to ask for that. He called me. I didn't get to them. What'd you get? Well, I got it's really thick. Okay. Shit. Bring that puppy. Okay, so what am I talking about, Coach? I'm not mumbling. Well, I mean, maybe I am, but there's okay, so when we filed the $200 million lawsuit in federal court in Topeka, Kansas, we also filed that certified copy of the complete docket sheet. It was that thick, and you can bet I went through every page 4 times. I didn't have to, because I already know what was missing. Okay, I already knew what was missing. They didn't serve my foster kid. There was no process of service. They didn't serve him, number one. And number two, the marriage dissolution that he got off of my website was placed in the public record 3.5 months prior to, it was placed in the public record. And they told him in one hearing, well, bring it with you to next hearing. I'm like behind him shaking my head because it was a Zoom hearing, you know. Yeah. And so why would he have to do that when the attorney should went over there? Oh, wait, the attorney already knew because his Lion X, Kristen Coble, told him what was going on. And I'm sure he told her, oh, hell no, it wasn't signed by a judge. And it wasn't. Well, actually, it was. It was signed by Judge Neighbors. No, I ain't signed nothing. Okay, I did not sign anything. And see, that's the beauty of this. When you stop the process, you don't have to do all of that stuff. And then they look stupid and they have to go do some other shit. Yeah, I'm having a little fun tonight. I've been taking some cough medicine, so. It's the truth, though. Judge Ashley. What's up? Welcome to the show. Yep. You know, we ain't in a hurry, so we just kind of take our time. Y'all know, the people that know I used to box. I never wanted to knock anybody. I never knocked anybody out. I didn't. I think that's a lot of work, and that shit hurts. And it just, you know, there's a lot of extra time left. Yeah, no, who's trying to knock somebody out? I want their ass to go sit down real slow. I want them to think about it first. Yeah, I want them to go sit their asses down real slow or real fast. It doesn't matter. But that's the way I roll when I'm putting this stuff together. Kind of like everything is going to be for a family member. Yep. They're sharing it with me. Maybe. There's some. Yeah, there's a possibility. But you know what? I know this young man, and it's pretty cool because I told him, I said, man, this shit's going to get ugly over her. And so, and I already ran down there the last time to try to screw him over. I ran down there before 2 o'clock and got that shit fired right in the face. I already kind of had it ready. And I told him, I said, when they get really mad, they're going to figure out some way, and he cut me off. He said, Dad, I ain't scared of going to jail. Oh, and he said, they have my address. I said, all right, shit, we good. And we about to roll over here, and I ain't even worried about it. But, I told them if they have you in jail, they have me there too, okay? They're going, I'm pretty sure I can make them take me there. Oh. Well, we grow and we learn. And if you don't grow and you learn, then it makes it difficult to learn. So we grow and we learn. And so we learning now to add these people to the front of the lawsuit and make them have to get a bunch of phone calls, because at the end of the day, it ain't about them being scared that that you could win. Okay, so or make them go sit down. I don't know. I don't usually use that win word, but you know what I mean. Okay, their fear is the other people are gonna learn how to do this. Mm-hmm. That's why I hang out in a situation room. And I don't go anywhere without being armed. So I don't, and people say, oh, because, at the end of the day, okay, I already know, no, I ain't never took no deal or kissed their ass, okay? So, but I already know what happens when you stand up to them. So at the end of the day, are you willing to do whatever it takes? If you're not, then you shouldn't invest in my shit. Okay, because we're going to be hitting heads because you're going to, like I had one dude take off the state, off to stop the divorce lawsuit package, took the state off. I know what you're thinking. Why would he do that? No, I was like, I thank you, son. We need to go. We're done here. No evidence. They have no standing to argue. No, they open it. They have no standing to argue in your federal case using my stuff because they have no standing because they still can't respond to federal case law with state court shit. Okay. So it's like, punch them in the face and then punch them in, they can't. Okay, so is the federal judge going to say, oh, well, we'll just go ahead. And the funny thing about this, and I'm just going to throw it on the table because I'm honest as hell, I thought of this thinking about my own past stuff. I dragged a happy ass to federal court a couple of times. And the only people that showed up or that responded were the same state players. But I didn't understand as well. Okay, but it don't matter. None of that matters because the federal judge is going to tell you to go jump in the lake. And then that's when you sue the federal judge with the same. I would use a different. You can do a supplemental pleading if your ass is po and add the judge to keep control. But I would do a whole different another $400 and make it about the judge helping them throw your ass under both back wheels of the bus. That's what I would make it about. How the judge moved your shit over into their administrative hearing. You went to federal court so you wouldn't have to deal with that same shit over here, I think. And so as soon as they object to you, they're not going to provide a finding of facts and conclusions of law. So it's a wrap. I mean, for me, I would want to make that nice and smooth, tidy. Okay, never mind. Tidy white. Oh, and make them not want to read that anywhere. That's kind of yeah. It takes like for me a personal situation thing, and having not being able to protect the person that you love most at the time, and then see them holler off to jail and do. Oh, so oops, got my hand over the thing there, and Kerry Jackson neighbors. Yeah, so when you and the first time around, but if they want to come around again. So that's where it started, learning or whatever, and then it was personal, and then they They kept arresting me. They got mad at me a couple times. I'm driving by with the wrong finger. I was talking about scratching my ear. Okay. Thank you guys for the value of sharing your time with me tonight. So I'm running out of gas. So I'm going to, and we've been about an hour. So, I want to hit this because this HOA is total bullshit, and you stop them the same way. And now people telling me, "Oh, I don't bring my stuff. You're my stuff." No, you gotta bring their trash over here to my stuff. That's what you're doing. Otherwise, you're trying to take my stuff in their conventional program, and then they're just gonna stall you off. Anybody that filed my stuff, that didn't watch the instructional video, they got jammed up because they just went and sat down and waited for them to respond instead of getting your ass over in federal court. And they didn't put the right people on there. They didn't put the state on there. They didn't have the Supreme Court on there. So some of these things, people that we talked about, you got to make sure you're punching the people at the top of the money thing. I learned that from watching the Shelby County stuff. Oh, and so we're going to do a less punish lien against the county recorder's office and their assets. And I already know they're going to play around. So, because, they all know each other and whatever. And that's fine. So we're just going to do that. And if they don't respond to us in the time frame that the legal team thinks that they should, then we're just going to foreclose on the county, the Register of Deeds office and their assets and the property at 1211 Massachusetts. I already have a young lady who wants to turn that property into a kids' dance studio. And it's right across from the park where the kids park. So, yeah. I don't know. They can come to the table whatever they want to do right now, but we're not waiting for them. We're not in a rush, but we're not waiting for them because they have a hard time getting their ass kicked. So, well, they're doing their administrative thing, which means they can change and do whatever they want. You all know they don't follow any of the once they got control of your deed, and that's kind of why here they're able to do a bunch of shit, and that's what they do. It's all about making. Once they get that first illegal lien, then they real quietly jam you up for the property tax shit. So it's just another lien, but they don't call it a lien yet. They don't call it a lien yet until your ass can't pay it. I don't know. They call it a bill. Like they call it a bill or whatever. But, so here's the thing. Once they get your property registered, your property is reclassified to one of their commercial classifications, which usually are agricultural, residential, or commercial. And a residential is actually a property that a government official owns, but people don't know that. One dude was trying to call me and ask me about that. How do I know that? Oh, so all of these problems, the property tax package has everything in it that you need to not only sue them for the property tax, it also has the 42 U.S.C. 1983 foreclosure lawsuit in it, because most people in this situation, especially in Texas and California, are facing both of these problems because they use one to start the other. And then when you figure out the other, then you have the other. Okay, maybe it's not funny, but that's what to do. That's how to do that. They use one to jam you up for the other, and then the one to keep going up with every year or whatever. But I'm not that smart, but I do know that if my deed was here, I wouldn't have these problems. That's what I do know. So Rex, how's things going? He got into the program. Oh, so do you have Barcard yet, Rex? You should email me. That was one of the questions I wanted to ask. You invested in the package. I wanted to see if you got a Barcard. I'm going to go ahead and start adding those into the packages. So, thank you, Ms. Heather. Thank you for showing up tonight and helping us out. Okay, I need to get over here and go sit down. Good night, guys. Thanks for the value for sharing your time. And don't get sick.